it's my pleasure today introduce today's speaker, Maria Helenice Rodrigues Hernandes from Universidade Estadual de Maringá. Thank you very much, Helenice, for accepting our invitation. Today, Helenice is talking about monomial map germs from Cn to Cp for p greater than or equal to n. Okay, you may start when you're ready, Helenice. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all the organizers of this webinar. It's in fact a great pleasure for me in this so special semester celebrating the memory of Cidinha. And it's so difficult to talk about her, but I think that it was a privilege for me to have been her PhD student, and I feel as all the Singularity Group part of Cidinha's family. So in this talk, we decided to present some results in collaboration with Cidinha. That part of this study, we decided to focus in the study of map germs from Cn to Cp, where P is greater than or equal to 2n, and with the property that these map germs is finitely determined. And our proposal is to study analytic invariants, try to give, especially when we have the case that the map germ is monomial, if you can characterize which monomial map germs are afinite or not in this class of maps, we can obtain a classification. There are some points that we try to study in some works that we have with her. Well, the objects that we need to introduce here is we study map germs with respect to this A equivalent relation. The classical group in singularity theory is the group of pair of diffeomorphisms, smooth diffeomorphisms, H and K, H from Cn to Cn, K from Cp to Cp, and we say that two map germs F and G are A equivalent if the diagram commutes, that is G is a composition of K composed with H minus 1. So it's the classical equivalence relation, and the property, a map germ has the property to be finite determined with respect to the group A, or simply A finite, if there exists K, so that for any moot germ with the same kjet of F, satisfy that F is A equivalent to G. The kjet is the Taylor polynomial of degree K. Okay, but this property of finite determinant, how we can verify if a map germ is afinite or not? There are two classical results, if criteria to verify if a map germ is afinite or not. One of these main theorems is the infinitesimal criterion of finite determinacy that we verify if a map germ is afinite computing analytic invariants. So to introduce this invariant, we denote by ON the local ring of functional germs in Cn at the origin. This local ring, its maximal ideal is Mn, and ONP is the set of smooth map germs from Cn to Cp. ONP is a free ON model of rank P, and the equal dimension of the map germ F is the dimension as a C-vector space of ONP quotient with the extended tangent space to a orbit of F. So it's not simple to compute the equal dimension. In general, it's very complicated, but it's one criteria. If this codimension is finite, if and only if F is finite determined. Okay, so we our proposal is to study map germs where the target dimension is greater than or equal to n, where n is the dimension in the source. So the first class that we can study here is parameterized curves. So in my PhD thesis, Cidinha proposed to study parameterized curves, trying to connecting relations between invariants, because there are some classical invariants in the theory of curves, like semigroup, etc., and the other invariants, equidimension, etc., and can relate so these tools. And we present some result that will be taken in this direction. So a germ of parameterized curve, we can use change of coordinates to obtain parameterization in so special way, where the first monomial terms in mid component of phi satisfy this property that V0 is less than V1 is less than Vp minus 1, for instance. And the last element, V0, is called the multiplicity of phi. But to define the multiplicity, we need that the parameterization satisfy a certain property. If the parameterization is called a primitive. Primitive means that we cannot reparameterize the curve with a power of a new variable. So n is the same. To verify if a parameterization is primitive or not, it's simple. We collect some exponents in the parameterization, satisfying that the greatest common divisor is equal to 1. If you have a primitive parameterization given to this way, V0 is the multiplicity, and a map germ, a parameterized curve, is a finite if and only if this invariant, that is called delta invariant, that's the dimension of the convergent power series ring in the variable t, quotient with the convergent power series, but in the components of the parameterization. If this invariant is if this invariant is finite, the map germ, the parameterized curve, is finitely determined. But the problem is, it's easy to compute delta. Well, it's another way to verify. In this case, it's simple to verify. We look to the parameterization and we know if the parameterization is finitely determined or not. Because if you have a primitive parameterization, the invariant delta is finite, and consequently, phi is finitely determined. So you look the components, you know that parameterized curve is finitely determined, and the idea here is we can compute the equidimension, we can obtain some relations between the equidimension and the delta invariant, etc. We have some relation between these invariants, and one tool that's very important in the study of curve is the semigroup. Semigroup, we can compute delta, for example, in terms of elements of the semigroup associated with the semigroup. The semigroup is the subset of the natural numbers, where we collect orders of series, where we take any series in the variable x and y, compose with the parameterization. We have a series in the variable t, so we collect this order. When we collect all these orders, we have a subset of n that in fact is a semigroup. This semigroup is finite as a subset of n is finite generated with respect to addition, but not necessarily the complement n. When we remove the elements of n, this complement can be finite or not. But when phi, the parameterization, is primitive, this complement is finite. The elements in n that not belong to the semigroup are called gaps of the semigroup, and the number of gaps is the delta invariant. So we can compute this codimension in terms of the semigroup, because the gaps of the semigroup, the cardinality of these gaps of this set is precisely the delta invariant. And in my joint work with Marcelo Hernandes, Cidinha, we prove that for any parametrized curve, if the parametrized curve is A-finite, we can relate the equidimension with the delta invariant and the multiplicity of the curve, where the parametrization is from C to CP. So the equidimension is less than or equal to P minus 1, the delta invariant plus the multiplicity minus 2. We illustrate with some example. For instance, this parametrized curve, we look for the parameterization. We identify that this parameterization is A-finite, since the GCD, the equated common divisor of these elements, is 1. The multiplicity is 6. We can compute the semigroup. It's not so simple to identify who are the generators of the semigroup. In this case, the semigroup is generated by 6, 8, and 9, but in general, it's not so easy to identify which elements to determine the generators of the semigroup. But the gaps that are the elements in N that not belongs to the semigroup, it's precisely this set. We have, in fact, 10 gaps. So the delta invariant is 10. And by the previous, we can compute the equidimension is 19. And by the previous relation, we verify that, in fact, this relation is 24, that the equidimension is less than this relation. But we obtain more than only inequality. We obtain, in fact, inequality, but we're not present here because we need to introduce a lot of concepts, because the equality of this relation depends on the cardinality of some sets that is given by differentials associated to the curve. So, and we prefer to not to introduce, but it's I would like to point out that we obtain an inequality for this relation. And more than this, when we restrict to the class of monomial parametrized curve, we obtain an explicit formula that's all these results that part of this article. And here, note that we restrict to the parameterization with the property be monomial. When you have a monomial case, we can write a formula for the equidimension related with the delta invariant. It's P minus 1 delta plus another element, minus 1, where T of phi is the Cohen-Macaulay type of the local ring of the curve. But we can compute algebraically in terms of the semigroup. And when we have a parametrized monomial curve in C3, I like very much this result because we characterize a geometric property of the curves in terms of this relation, in terms of the equidimension. If you have in C3, a monomial curve in C3, the curve is complete intersection if and only if the equidimension is 2 delta phi, and the curve is not complete intersection if and only if the equidimension is 2 delta plus 1. So in this case, it's completely characterized. We have other cases when the curve is Gorenstein, then we obtain on other relations, but we're not included here because in all of these cases, we need to introduce a lot of definitions, and I prefer to show other results in the class of finally determined monomial germs in general. So we have released here some results, some works in which the monomial curves, monomial maps is explored. It's a very important class. Bush-Weiss studying deformations of monomial curves, etc. And in this work, Groh and Lee generalize the results, our results, with respect to curves, this relation involving the ecodimension and the other invariants for curves with several branches. So it's there are other results involving, here, for example, we have other deformation of monomial space curve, etc. There are a lot of results in this direction. So, okay. So in this class of maps that we are interested, for n equal to 1, okay, we have some results. It's simple to identify if a curve is finely determined or not. Is visual, you look to the parameterization, but in general, we can identify in terms of the components of my germ if the germ is afinite or not. So we're not expected that it's possible to answer in general. But here we present other important theorem, the Mayer-Gaffney geometric criteria of finite determinants, that established that for this class of maps, where P is greater than or equal to 2n, the map germ F is afinite if and only if there exists a neighborhood at the origin, such that 0 is an isolated singularity, and outside the 0, we have an embedding. So we have a beautiful connection between the geometric properties in terms of that characterize the finite determinants. And for example, this map germ from C2 to C4 is not afinite because 0 is an isolated singularity, satisfying the first property here of this theorem, but is not injective outside the 0. So, and we can identify this map is not afinite, but which monomial, for the class of monomial, we restrict to monomial maps. For monomial maps from C2 to C4, if we start with C2 to C4, we can identify monomial. It's a simple, before to answer this question, we can observe that in some sense, this class of maps generalize some ideas of curves, because by this theorem of Gaffney, F is afinite if and only if the map germ is finite determined with respect to the group L. So with the infinitesimal criterion of finite determinacy, F is afinite if and only if the ecodimension is finite. By this previous result, ecodimension is finite if and only if the ecodimension is finite. And the ecodimension is close relation with the invariant that generalize the delta invariant for curves. If we define the delta of F as the dimension of ON with F star OP, where when we take a function germ in OP, F star 8 is 8 composed with F. So this definition is the same that we define the delta invariant for curves. It's the same. And the same property that we have for curves, we have here. For parametrized curves, the parametrized curve is afinite if and only if delta is finite. We have the same here. And of course, the delta is so, it's easier to compute than the ecodimension, of course. But the point here is not the computation of the delta invariant, etc. The idea if you restrict to the class of monomial maps, we can identify only looking for the components of the parameterization, if a map germ is a-finite or not. This is explored. It was CG and I exploring these two works. The first work for surfaces in C4, and in this joint and a-finite map germs, we generalize these results for any map germ where P is greater than 2n. So we have a monomial map germ from C2 to C4. The components are all monomials in X and Y. And we'd like to know if you look the powers, AI, BI, we can identify if this map germ is a-finite or not. We prove that yes, the answer is yes. In fact, the only class of up to A equivalence, if a map germ is monomial from C2 to C4, if this map germ is a-finite, if and only if we have only two possible classes, or is regular and is equivalent to an immersion, or if F is singular, is the equivalent to a map germ given by X, X lambda Y, Yn, Ym, where this plane curve is primitive because the GCD of N and M is equal to 1. So we have only any other class that we change this configuration, this germ is not a-finite. So in general, we imagine that if the dimension N and P is great, is increased, of course, we have a lot of possibilities of possible a-finite map germs. But surprisingly, if the map germ is from Cn to C2n, monomial, we don't have a lot of possible analytic classes. For Cn to C2n, it's similar to the case of surface in C4. We have an immersion, or we have a corank 1 map germ. When we have identity, the variables here is x1, xn minus 1, and the last variable is y. So we have x1, xn minus 1 that characterize the corank 1 map. We have a plane curve in the variable y, and in the other components, we have a product of power of xi with y of degree 1. We have only these two classes. And why we use to prove this result? We illustrate this for surface in C4. We prove essentially that if a map germ is a-finite, we know that the delta invariant is finite. So this complement, we need to guarantee that some powers of a power of x, a power of y, and a power of the product of x and y belongs to F star O4. So this implies that when we verify which components we can have obtaining by the components of my map germ, we analyze that we don't have a lot of possibilities, or we have an immersion of we have this map germ. It's the same analysis that we have done for in this case from Cn to C2n. In all these results, we use that if F is a-finite, this delta invariant is finite. Therefore, we analyze what kind of components we can have in this case. Okay, but If from Cn to C2n, if the germ is singular, monomial, singular, find determinant, we have only this class. If you don't have a plane curve here, don't have any, it's not important to have a plane curve. If P is sufficiently great, sufficiently with a convenient dimension P, we can put any parameterized curve here, monomial or not, but in the monomial case, we guarantee that this map germ is afinite. For example, here we have a curve C3. This map germ from C3 to C5 to C7 is affine determinant. Because we have the same properties, it's not important if you have a plane curve here or not. The importance is this curve is finite determinant, and the other components, of course. And okay, in all examples that we presented before, all these map germs have corank 1. And we have some examples of afinite monomial maps of any corank. So here we list 3 examples from C2 to C6 of map germs that are that have the property of have corank 2 and is finite determinant. We have, in this case, we have a curve in the variable x, a curve in the variable y, and the other products mixed elements x and y. So for any power here, it's the same. This germ is affine determinant. And in this case, we put a curve in C3 in the variable x, a plane curve in the variable y, and xy. So this is motivate how we obtain general. We can say a general form of a monomial map germ of a certain corank with the property that this map germ is afinite. And the answer is yes. And we use a concept that looked at in these previous examples. We have in this class, we have an identity here and a curve. In the other components, we mix the variables x and y. In these examples, we have a curve in each variable and mix the elements. So we have a map that depends on the variable x. We have a map that depends only to the variable y. And the other components mix these 2 variables. This is the idea of the definition that Cidinha proposed to work an operation called a join operation. We have a map in some variables. We have another map in independent variables. Suppose f depends of the x1, xn. G depends of ym1, yp's, I don't know. And we join these 2 map germs with a map 8 that mixed these 2 variables. And in principle, the definition we cannot have the proposed to is an operation that we construct a new map germ, but we use this to determine which map germ 8 we can put here to guarantee that the new construction, this new map germ, is satisfying the property to be afinite. We have F afinite, we have G afinite, and which map we put to join F and G in order to guarantee that the new map germ is afinite. So, of course, we can extend this definition for a finite number of map germs, joining F1, Fr with the map 8. And this is the construction that we obtain a general form of an affine determinant map germ. So, of course, that when P and Q and when the dimensions N and P is general, it's more complicated, the notations, but I try to explain in order to not to be easy to understand. What they propose to obtain we can look to the components to identify if the map germ is afinite or not. This is the idea. Not necessarily to classify. Of course, we can obtain a classification, but the idea is we have a general form. When we look the components of a map germ, we identify if this map germ is afinite. Of course, restricting to the case of monomial. We start with monomial map. So, the notation phi kj for me denotes a parametrized curve in the variable yj. And here, the variables in Cn, we denote x bar with the variables x1, xn minus q, and y bar, y1, yq. Okay, these are the n variables in the domain, Cn. Okay, it's well known that if a map germ has current q, we obtain change of coordinates in order that this map germ has the first n minus q component as the identity. So these first components characterize that the map germ has current q. Okay, so in x1, xn minus q1 characterize the current. In the other variables, that's y1, yq, if you want to have a finite map germ, we need to put curves in each variable. We have a parametrized curve in the variable y1, we have a parametrized curve in the variable yq. It's not important what the dimension is, not any curve, it depends of P. But if you can construct a finite monomial map of current Q, in the other variables, we need to put a curve. And what else? Now we need to mix the variables. In order to guarantee that this map germ is afinite, we need to include all products of two variables involving product of x, suppose x1 with y1, a power of x1 with y1 of degree 1, x1 with y2, x1, a power of x1 with yq, etc. So we mix the variable xi with the variables of the curves, and we need to put the product of these powers involving the variables of each curve. And if P, we have some components here, we put every element that is necessary. If you have more components, we can put any element. So here we have any monomial afinite map germ of current Q has this configuration. Is the join of an identity with Q parametrized curves. And we say which elements we include here, mix these elements in order to obtain a finite property. So, if you want to illustrate, so we fixed. We have a monomial map germ from C2 to C5. We can list all possible afinite map germs. So we can have F is A equivalent to, or we have an immersion, if F is regular. If F has correct 1, we have the first possibility. This is the same configuration that from C2 to C4 and 0 in the last component. Or we can have the same four components, and we can include any monomial, x, a, y, b, or if f has corank 1, we have x, the first component is x, we put a curvature tree in the variable y, and we need to put this monomial, x lambda y. Finish the corank 1 maps. If f has corank 2, we have only one possibility. We have a curve in the variable x, we have a plane curve in the variable y, and this monomial is necessary to be xy. So according to the dimensions n and p, we can describe, you can give all possible general forms that we can obtain a finite monomial map germ, because we characterize, we give a general form of a monomial map germ. And of course, when we start with monomial maps, we can construct a lot of infinitely many families of non-monomial maps. We can deforming these maps in order to preserve the a-finite property, or we have some results in non-monomial cases. For instance, we illustrated before, if you have a map germ of corank 1, when here we have a curve in CK, not necessarily monomial, this map germ is a-finite, because it's the similar proof that we prove for monomial case. So this map germ is a construction of non-monomial a-finite map germs in this class for p greater than or equal to 2n. If you would like to construct, if you have a map from Cn to Cp of corank n, remember that we put curves here in the variables y1, yn. It's not important that this curve is monomial. If you include a curve in the variable y1, a curve in the variable yn, with these other components, we have a product of power of one variable times the other variables, of mix the variables of the curves. This map germ is a-finite, is non-monomial. I put monomial, but there is a mistake. This is not an example in the monomial case. Phi ij is any curve here, and we obtain an a-finite property. For example, in this case. So based on the general form of a-finite monomial map germs that we present here, we can construct infinitely many families of non-monomial a-finite map germs. And we not present here, but we obtain, in this class of maps, we obtain relations between the invariants, involving equal dimension, delta invariant, the number of double points of a stabilization of the map germ. We obtain some relations or some estimates. We have an algorithm, for example, with another student, where we compute the delta. We have an algorithm to compute the delta for this class of monomial map germs from C2 to C4. It's not a simple formula. We need an algorithm to compute this. And suddenly, the last work, joint work with Thais and Cidinha, we finished the study of non-normal toric varieties, in which these toric varieties with the property that isolate singularity and smooth normalization. So in this case, the normalization of the toric variety is a monomial map. So we apply the results that we obtain with Cidinha to study, to describe the semigroup associated with a toric variety with these properties. And the semigroup, it's a very important tool. We can, because the toric variety has beautiful properties, combinatorial properties, and a lot of, we can study these objects, exploring the semigroup, and to describe the semigroup of a toric variety is interesting. And in this case, we apply this result with Cidinha in the study of this class of toric variety. Well, I prefer to finish here because I decided not to put most complicated definitions or concepts in order to have a general idea that what I developed with Cidinha, in fact, was a pleasure. I'm so grateful for her with everything that he had done for our Singularity group, and especially for me.